So this is another one where when I point to it, people say, "Oh, I see that everywhere."
Is that called limestone, is it? Or
no, this is
something else. Go ahead.
A lot of plants go by a lot of common names, but this is the Ribwort Plantain or the Plantago Lanceolata. Now, this is Mother Nature's Band-Aid. So not only can you eat the leaves raw or cooked, the leaves contain a compound which is very similar to VEGF or vascular endothelial growth factor, and it aids in wound healing. So if you have a cut or a graze, what you can do is crush the leaves and then place it onto the broken skin, and it will aid in healing, but also minimize scarring. So this plant actually has a very special place in my heart because when I was about, Sanjul, you would have heard this story.
Yeah, I love this story.
Yeah, when I was 7 years old on the farm, I was throwing a knife into the ground because I thought that was so thrilling at 7 years old. And the knife went straight into my heel. And luckily, my grandmother was there and she ran over and she pulled the knife out. Thankfully, it hadn't gone too deep. And she ripped up she pulled a couple of leaves from this plant that was right next to me and crushed it in her hand, and then placed it on the wound. And she said, "Keep that on there and it won't scar, and it'll help it heal." And sure enough, it did. And that was the moment that I mean, because she had shown me plants before, but I never really took an interest. But because in that moment, in my emergency and my urgency, she was there with a plant to help me. That really made me think that I wonder what else is around here that I can use like that. So this plant has a very special place in my heart because it's what inspired me to eventually pursue my career in medicine, or emergency medicine, I should say. So again, the leaves can be eaten both raw or cooked, and just remember it as Mother Nature's Band-Aid. Any broken skin, any damaged skin, cuts, grazes, abrasions, just crush the leaf in your hand until it gets a little juicy, and then place it onto the wound, and then bind it if you can. And it's also delicious. The leaves are really good for you. You can collect the seeds if you do. I mean, you don't have to propagate this, so to speak, because it grows everywhere. But if you do want to collect the seeds, you can collect those seed heads, as you can see in the picture, and place them in between two pieces of paper with a weight on top. And as the seed heads dry, the seeds will mature, ripen, and then fall out. And that's how you can collect the seeds. Now, I do recommend for people, if they don't have a certain weed that grows naturally in their back garden or front garden, because there are some people who I know, who I've spoken to, who have said, "Oh, I don't have any marshmallow anywhere, like I never find it anywhere." Grab a few samples, either their seeds or their roots, and plant them in your garden, because the fantastic thing about food foraging or wild foods is that they're often all drought-tolerant plants, and they don't require any maintenance at all. You don't have to water these at all like you do with vegetables or anything like that. You can just leave a garden unattended, and all that will grow there is most likely going to be the marshmallow, the plantain, and dandelions perhaps, which are also edible and medicinal. So that's the fantastic thing about food foraging, is that it requires no effort other than to harvest it. That's it. So that's the plantain.
Fantastic. Camille, if people are interested in knowing more about the subject and getting in touch with you and participating in one of your foraging forays, how would they get in touch?
Yeah, so I run a food foraging group on Telegram called Food Foraging Australia, all separate words. You can join up there. I post plants of the day, which is a picture of a plant, and I explain its edibility,